Welcome to the Audio Inc. Radio podcast, featuring interviews with the biggest names in rock and metal. Hosted by Anne Erickson.
Got Inc.? Head to audioinkradio.com and find exclusive artist interviews, Q&As, photos, contests, music news, and more. Whew, that's a lot of ink. It's audioinkradio.com.
Hey, this is Mark Tremonti from Tremonti, and you're listening to Anne Erickson on Audio Inc. Radio.
I'm Anne Erickson. As always, it's awesome to have you here on the podcast. If you want to get in touch and talk about any of these interviews, you can find me on Twitter and Snapchat at Anne Erickson and Instagram at EricksonAnne. Always so great to talk to this guy, the one and only Mark Tremonti. His band Tremonti is on tour with Sevendust, which I think is an awesome bill. Thank you so much for doing this, Mark.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Awesome. Well, first of all, congrats on all of the success of A Dying Machine. Now that the album has been out a while, how do you feel about the fans' positive reaction to it?
Oh, it's been great. Everybody who's familiar with the band has been real complimentary and coming out in force to the tours, and no, it's been awesome.
Do you have a favorite song to play live off the album?
The title track is my favorite. It's definitely one of the highlights of the set. That song's just so important to me, and the record in general is one of my favorite, tracks we've done with the Tremonti band, and just the dynamic it has live. Just really, even when we played festivals and whatnot, for people who aren't familiar with the band or the song, it always gets a good reaction.
Do you think that you'll ever do another concept album?
It all kinds of depends on where my head's at when I start writing for the next Tremonti record, and if the book and everything else is a success, I'm just finalizing a publishing deal for the international release of the book and everything, because so far it's just been self-published, but now we're kind of going to the next step and doing a publishing deal and getting distribution and whatnot. So if it's successful and people enjoy it, then it would make sense to follow it up.
Awesome. So you think you might actually, if you were to do another concept album, it would kind of be like a follow-up from this one?
Yeah. That would probably make the most sense. At first I'd probably have to come up with an outline of kind of what the novel follow-up would be, and then try to fill in the blanks with writing the songs based on that. But I've been so deep into writing the next Alter Bridge record, I haven't had time to really sit down and try to get creative with that at this point yet.
Cool. And of course, the tour with Sevendust is coming up, which I think is a really awesome bill. So what made you want to hit the road? Yeah, what made you want to hit the road with Sevendust?
They're like family. We've been touring with them since the late 90s, so it's been such a great live band and such a good mix of guys that, we know it's going to be awesome.
Cool. What do you remember from your first tour with Sevendust? Because I was talking to Clint, and he was remembering you guys being out with Three Doors Down and everything back in the 90s.
No, it was just great. They were, I remember them being appreciative that we let them open up for us, because a lot of bands didn't like them opening up for them because they'd always blow them off the stage, because Sevendust is such a great live band. They bring so much energy. I always remember watching them before we went on. A lot of times I'm just warming up most of the time before a show, but with those guys, I'm always down there watching. So
aside from being friends with Sevendust, what do you really admire about their music and career?
I think that they were a very influential band. The way they write, and the way they kind of followed almost drum patterns rhythmically on their guitar parts and whatnot was kind of something that a lot of bands started doing after Sevendust did, and I think they deserve a lot more credit for being one of the most influential modern rock bands. And
what are you most looking forward to about the tour coming up?
Just the camaraderie, hanging out with my buds, and of course, being able to play live. Playing live is definitely why we all do this. The travel and everything else can be a drag, but getting on stage is the best.
After the tour, do you think you'll start working on recording the new Alter Bridge album at all?
I'm writing. I'm in the process now where I'm up till 4 a.m. every night writing, and on tour I'll be recording demos and whatnot. So once we get off of this tour, we'll be going right to the studio with Alter Bridge through March and April, and then after that we'll do another Tremonti run, which will be the final Tremonti tour for this cycle, and then we'll be setting up for the tour later on with Alter Bridge at the end of the year.
Any thoughts where the direction of the new Alter Bridge music is going at all?
Right now I'm trying to come from a different place. It's hard to explain, but it's just trying to make it not be the same. Try to always try to reinvent ourselves with every record. And right now it's a little early because me and Miles haven't gotten together. So far it's been me writing stuff and Miles writing stuff, and when we come together and combine the stuff, kind of really see what it's going to sound like. But I'm trying to make it sound a little different than it has in the past. We'll see how it turns out.
Do you think anything that you did with Tremonti might influence the new Alter Bridge album?
Yeah, you're always growing, always taking in new experiences, and sometimes it's good to get the real heavy stuff out with Tremonti, so that I can come back to Alter Bridge and do the more atmospheric and moody stuff. Working with Miles, he's such a great singer. It's great to leave a lot of space and a lot of room for his great vocals. And with Tremonti, sometimes it's more straightforward and heavy, and I like to get a little more experimental with Alter Bridge.
What did you think of Miles' solo album?
I think it was tremendous. I think it was just what he needed to do. His. I love the fact that it couldn't be any more different than what I'm doing in my solo project. So it kind of lets everybody kind of see the different sides of the people within the band.
So do you think the album might be out by the end of this year? Alter Bridge, people always want to know, when is it going to come out?
Yeah, I think the plan is to have it out this fall. I think maybe October
wow.
is kind of the target.
Do you have any plans to do anything with Creed? Any, reunion shows or anything like that down the road? You're so busy as it is.
Yeah, there's nothing on the books, but it's, between all of our different managers and agents and all the agents out there who we've worked in the past, if somebody came up with something, we're always all ears for whatever opportunities are out there.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much, and definitely look forward to the tour coming up.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
It's the cutting edge of new music and the forefront of rock. It's Audio Inc. with Anne.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Audio Inc. Radio podcast. Subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode. Get inked online at audioinkradio.com. I'm Anne Erickson for the Audio Inc. Radio podcast.